Hello guys, and in today's video I just woke up and we are going to be going over Destiny 2 update 6.20, and we're going to primarily be focusing on the PvP side of the changes because there is quite a few, and I personally want to educate myself, so I've seen this as an opportunity to also take some time to maybe educate some other people about my voice is cracked twice. Oh my god, fuck. Hold on, give it let me take a drink of water here. Holy shit. Oh my god. All right. I think we're back in business. So one of the first things we see is in the survival playlist, they fixed where round ties were giving my voice keeps cracking. Holy fuck, my throat's a little fucked up. Fixed an issue where round ties still granted a point to one of the teams. And then there's the loose skill-based matchmaking and control. In 3v3 mode, special level no longer refresh upon being resurrected. Bring them in line. Okay. All right. So that in comp you won't. Wait, what? Okay. No. Maybe that's in other modes, like in elimination, I guess. Because in comp, you don't get resurrected. You respawn. But okay, shrieks, fix an issue where the 3 birds, 3 stones triumph. Okay, so all these fix an issue where an opponent's nameplate would not pulse when their super was active. Okay, so I didn't know that would happen. But Iron Banner issues, fix Iron Banner reputation multiplier. Nice. Okay. Fix an issue where Crucible Gamut and Vanguard dropped focus weapons, and focus weapons could not drop with more than 3 combinations. And Arc 3.0 bounties for Crucible Gamut and Vanguard turned bounties with Void 3.0 status effective. Okay, this is all more payload escaping. What is this? Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, these are all of the not PvP change, or these kind of could be PvP, I guess. Armor, I guess not. Stasis rocket. I don't think any of this has anything to do with PvP. One for all to grant more bonus damage than intended. Okay. I don't think any of this really has too much to do with PvP. Here we go. Weapon archetypes. So yeah, PV, increased damage, red bars, impact autos, increased base stability. That could be good. I'll probably make a video on one of these autos. Age-old bond. I think I do have a pretty good roll on that I've been waiting to test out. So lightweight bows. They increased the perfect draw time and reduced base draw time. Okay. Glaives now have synergy with feedback fences, currency armlets, and necrotic grips. That's one thing that's good to read because at one point at the beginning of the season, or literally before this season came out, I had someone ask me what are you thinking about glaives having better hit registration tomorrow? And it's dude, they don't. That's going to happen at some point, but that's not going to happen tomorrow. They fixed the issue with Dire, the zoom stat. That's good. Concussion grenades can no longer roll in the magazine slot. Increase grenade launchers damage versus majors. Okay. Oh yeah. I've seen a clip on Twitter, by the way. This is apparently an 150 damage buff instead of 10. That will get changed at some point, but currently it is at 150 or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly. Increase magazine overflow from 10% to 20% on kill. Okay, that's a good change. I feel like that's a pretty big buff. Increased overflow cap from 50% to 150%. That is also a pretty big buff. Vader tracker, that's a good change. I don't know how practical that is, getting multiple kill. I guess that's pretty nice. Sulking Wolf, this is pretty good too. I like this. I'm assuming that's retroactive. Cooldown has been removed. I like this change too on Wellspring. I had a rocket with Wellspring and I was excited about it, but then I got a different one, so not so excited about it anymore. But regardless, it is nice that this perk is going to be getting some love. Perpetual Motion pretty much kept it the same, just made it more manageable, I guess, to deal with it popping up or whatever. I didn't realize that was an issue for some people, but apparently it was. Light from Gold now gives the correct amount of ammo when 2 special weapons are equipped. Concussion grenades can no longer roll on breach grenade launchers. Fixed an issue where it was applying charge time reduction to linear fusions. It will correctly only refill the magazine from reserves when it triggers on these weapons. Updated description to actually say what they do. Buffs. So Lemon Arc now is intrinsic overload. That is very good because overload in PvP in particular, Lemon Arc burns you. It keeps you one shot for a very big period of time. I would probably say for probably a good 10 seconds. Because you get shot by Lemon Arc, right? And then you get ticks. You get probably about 3 or 4 ticks of 3 damage or something. And then depending on your recovery, if you have 10 recovery, it will be about 5 seconds till you are full health again. So Lemon Arc now, on top of all those, the fact that it is a primary bow that really damages you hard, it's also going to have overload. So when you are shot by a Lemon Arc that poisons you, you are also going to have your ability regen hindered by the Lemon Arc. So that's fun. I'm not looking forward to that. It's just a little thing, but it's why, man? Why are you doing this to me? And then Thunderlord. also is getting overload. That's more of a PvE change than anything. Malfeasance, getting intrinsic unstoppable. Sure, why not? Yeah, sure. And increasing the precision or the accuracy airborne effectiveness stat. So one thing that I think is very interesting about this is they show it in game, but they don't, I don't know how to describe it. So like they show it in game, but you can't see it on armor. Like you can't see exactly what exotic does to your airborne stat. It shows the airborne effectiveness stat on the weapon, like the base airborne effectiveness stat, but there isn't an airborne effectiveness stat like total, if that makes any sense, on the character screen. It's just airborne effectiveness base stat on the weapon, I believe, and then it's like doesn't really put into account what exotic you have on. Like I had Stompies on earlier when I was awake. I went to bed because my power went off and I wanted to get a really long stream in, and I was already 10 hours into a stream and my power went off, so I wanted to I wanted to get a I want to get like a 48 hour in potentially, and I didn't want to have to like do 10 hours of that over again. So I went to bed. I'm back up recording this video anyway. But the airborne effectiveness, like it being added in game, is not really added in a way that kind of makes it comprehensive or like makes it make sense to like build, like, because once again, like I said, you can see it in game on the weapon in particular. It is, if you right click or like inspect a weapon, zoom, airborne effectiveness, all those stats are visually a thing, but airborne effectiveness is not something that you see stat screen or whatever, where it shows all your character stats, like your recovery, all that stuff. And as well, exotics do not display what their airborne effectiveness is. Like, there's no display that Stompies, if you use Stompies, you're just in the gutters for airborne effectiveness. Like, you've completely just committed the most cardinal sin that you could in Destiny 2 video game if you wanted to have good airborne effectiveness. And I think that would definitely be a good thing to add. And in the instance where there is abilities in your subclass, like on Warlock, Solar Warlock, where Heat Rising allows you to have, an airborne effectiveness increase, I think those are also things that should be stated in game, so people are able to kind of like build craft into that more and like actually have that knowledge in game rather than like having to come and read patch notes and stuff. Because there's a lot of exotics and stuff that have airborne effectiveness that I don't even know about. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's some that I like have to ask my chat. It's like, wait, does this one have an airborne effectiveness? And if it does, what is it exactly? Because I don't remember. And I play the game for a living, so I feel like if I can't remember, God, I cannot imagine how someone that does not do this for a living must feel. Because how could they keep up with all that? Like I said, this is my job to keep up with this shit and like have this information and try to be informative and entertaining. And like I said, I can't imagine how someone feels that doesn't do this for a living. Wishender added intrinsic anti-barrier, very nice. I feel like that's more PvE buffs. A lot of these are PvE buffs. Legend of Acurus, now it's Trench Barrel. Increase the airborne effectiveness sound mini tool, okay. Resume on a Bite mini tool. Airborne effectiveness buff to Sweet Business. Fighting a Lion, they buff that. Damage increase has been implemented and slightly increased from 5 to 8. Increase the grace time for the instant reload effect within the herd from 5 to 6 seconds. This is something I've talked about before, but if you don't know, they decrease the starting ammo in PvP from 15 to 10, reduce the burst size shots per trigger from 10 to 5, release the wolves. They pretty much, from what I've seen, Lord of Wolves is like pretty much the same. It's not as forgiving because you don't start with as much ammo, but it's still a good weapon, unfortunately. So Dead Man's Tale, they changed the cranial spike effect. I didn't even think this was necessary, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is a really big nerf to DMT, and I don't necessarily agree with it, I'm not gonna lie, not at all. Collective Obligation, I've never used this weapon. I don't think this is actually a good weapon. I would not recommend ever using that. All right, now here is the Arc subclass stuff. This is the stuff that I want to read. I wanted to read all that because it's all good to know. By the way, I don't think anything's happening with Collective Obligation, so I'm just going to skip that one to kind of cut some video time down. Try to make this more short and sweet. Okay, reworked to fit the subclass 3.0 system. There are too many individual systematic changes to the list, but the Arc subclass now uses the aspect and fragment system used by Stasis, Void, and Solar. Standardized a set of debuffs aligned to the Arc damage type. Your movement speed and weapon handling are increased with Amplify. Granted, after sprinting for a short time, you enter a speed booster, further increasing your sprint speed, granting damage resistance against PvE combatants. By default, rapidly defeating multiple targets with Arc damage will amplify you. Your equipped aspects and fragments provide additional methods to become and benefit from being amplified. Okay, these are just explaining what all of these are, so I'm not going to read this because It's just, I know what all these are, personally. I feel like if you've looked in Arc 3.0, you should. I'm going to get down here into the specifics of these grenades, because these are things that were changed and not necessarily things that are added, if that makes any sense. So, all right, so storm grenades. Total damage across the two detonations reduced from 170 to 120. So yeah, I was expecting that. I was talking about it, and I was thinking storm grenades would be really good, but at the same time, I knew they were probably going to nerf them. Like, whether that be their damage or their radius. So they nerfed the damage, which was what I was expecting. They usually make slight adjustments to grenades and abilities when 3.0 subclass comes out. They've kind of done that with Solar and Void. So this was very, very much expected. Total damage decreased to 120, improved damage area consistency under new network conditions to give an issue where it was delaying damage. Okay, that's good. So hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. Base cooldown increased from 91 seconds to 105. So they actually increased the how much longer that nade was. I didn't realize that. Lightning grenades, damage per strike reduced from 160 to 120. Arc bolt reduced from 105 to 85. That's good, because I feel like arc bolts at one point were very strong. They were very annoying to deal with. So base damage reduced, or base cooldown reduced from 120 seconds to 105. I noticed that, so that makes sense. When I played a little bit, and once this video comes out, I'll be playing for like 2 days straight. But I played a little bit, and I used arc bolts, and I noticed that the cooldown was very low. Like, it was one of the lower cooldown grenades, and I was very surprised by that. So that makes sense. They dropped the damage, and then they reduced the cooldown as a result. Skip grenade, base cooldown increased from 105 to 121. All right, so they didn't change anything with skip grenades, just increased the cooldown. Flashbang grenades, duration decreased from 5 seconds to 3 versus players. Okay. Pulse grenades increased cooldown. Fix an issue causing this to deal less damage than intended against PvE targets. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought they fixed that a while ago. I guess maybe just in PvE, but Arc Staff now has Whirlwind block capabilities and Lightning Reflex armor dodge as a default behavior. Arc Staff damage versus minor elite commanders increased by 12.5. Blink Soaring Blow now applies a short blind at nearby targets rather than a generic distortion, and also amplifies you on hit. Okay, it now applies a short blind. That's interesting. So I'm assuming that it means that instead of someone getting stunned or disoriented, they're just going to be blind. I don't know if that... Does that mean the target, I'm assuming nearby targets, so the initial person gets disoriented, but people around them would get blinded. All right, that's what it sounds like with the way they word it. Okay, I mean, I feel like it's still going to be the best melee to run, like the most meta one. Tempest Strike, increased travel distance from 18 to 22 meters. That's interesting. Added a small amount of initial tracking to help Tempest Strike land on closer targets. Now jolts targets on hit. Base damage reduced from 130 to 110. Okay. Lethal Current, after dodging, your next melee has increased range, jolts the target, and leaves behind a damaging aftershock. Damaging a jolted target with melee attacks also blinds them. While using Arc Staff, your next attack strikes twice after dodging. Spectral, they increase the... What? Very interesting. Big change for the Spectral Blades in the PvE arena. Now it's, Fist Havoc now has Terminal Velocity, Bonus Slam, Light Attack. Okay, so it costs 8%, so they decreased how much Light Attack costs, and normalized when the... Okay, so they increased, I guess, the heavy slam radius 7 meters. It was 8, and then it was 6. They increased the damage versus champions. Okay. Added the thruster, thunderclap. Seen that. I don't really think that's something that you want to run, but it's there. Seismic strike, blind duration decreased from 5 seconds to 1.5 versus players. Ballistic slam, fixed an issue where the ballistic slam camera would sometimes cause you to dive straight downward where you're aimed at. No longer applies an inertia override on hit. Defeating targets with melee attack now also amplifies you in addition to starting your health regeneration. Oh my god, okay. Knockout is no longer consumed on your next melee kill. Instead, knockout lasts for 6 seconds, after which it needs to be reactivated. Okay. Wow, that's a big change, actually, because I feel like it being consumed on your melee kill was like kind of a balance, but knockout, oh man, that's gonna be really moldy. All right. Deprecated the frontal assault melee ability and the aftershock. Okay. Sentinel shield. All right. I'm kind of disappointed they're not making changes to Void 3.0 more, but I just don't think that they think it is an issue as much as I do. So Storm Trance now has Ionic Blink and Landfall as a default behavior. Landfall Seeker damage reduced from 250 to 150. Storm Trance alone increases its attack keep-up cost when targeting multiple enemies at once. Chain Lightning now creates 2 sets of chains up from 1. Alright. All Lightning now detonates 2 additional times for a total of 3 vertical. Okay. Arc Souls becoming amplified now also amplifies your Arc Souls. Alrighty. Here's all the aspects and fragments. Blink. This is something I need to read because I am going to be maining Blink. Maximum displacement distance increased from 4.5 meters to 5.2. Maximum vertical offset, how high up or down you are displaced based on your aim angle from the horizontal increase from 2 meters, 2.5. Increased forgiveness of mantling to ledges after exiting Blink. Energy model. Previously Blink Charges recharge slowly one by one. It can be activated at a cadence that felt inconsistent and often left players confused as to how many charges they had left. Now Blink has a consistent activation. You can carry 2 charges at once, 2.2 seconds after activating your last Blink. Both are immediately recharged. We also added a screen wipe and sound effect when this occurs, similar to Icarus Dash, to help communicate when you're ready to blink again. The overall ability of Blink is similar to the previous version, but we hope it is more understandable and results in fewer instances of frustration from the energy recharge model. Blind no longer provides super energy. Okay, that's good. I thought that was going to be providing super energy, so that's great. It reduced all the ability. You get class ability. All right, nice. At least an issue where restoration ×2 could be by some PV combatant attacks. Oh my. Arc focused exotic armor updates. Crown of Tempest now also activates from defeating targets. The way artist now amplifies you in addition to the Arc Souls. Okay, all right. I think that's it, fellas. That will be the video. So I learned quite a bit here. That's going to be a good chunk of knowledge to have going into season of the Plunder. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell below. I will be definitely making more videos. I will be streaming. When this video goes live, I will be streaming 100%. That will definitely be something I'm doing. And when I end stream, it will probably be on Thursday evening before the raid because I'm going to be power leveling. I'm going to be pumping out new content, trying to find shit in the game, trying to build craft and stuff like that. I think one of the first things I'm going to do when I'm done power leveling is I'm going to try to look into making a Blink build, like Blink shoddy build. Get a video out on that for you guys. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.